Do you like alcohol? Do you like beer? Do you like drinking games? If you answered yes to any of those questions, this segment is for you. Beer pong versus beer dive. Eric, take it away.
All right, guys, this is the debate that everyone has been waiting for. It has been called upon me to share my knowledge and also for you guys to share your knowledge. Let's start off with beer pong. Everyone knows about it. It was also called Beirut. It involves shooting 2 balls into 10 cups shaped in a triangle formation, believed to have been started at Dartmouth College in the 1950s. They originally played with paddles, and that's where they got the name beer pong, because it's like ping pong. Later on, Bucknell University, and the newspaper there, they introduced a game that they invented called throw pong, which is what we know as beer pong. It seems to me like it's a basketball-style drinking game, very common amongst basically any party ever, if you've been invited to one, hopefully, in your life. So right away, beer pong, I want to get into the advantages. Alex, tell me some advantages about beer pong.
I mean, the advantage of beer pong is if you don't want to be drinking out of gross, nasty fucking cups all night that have had God knows what go into them, you just fill them with water and you got your drink on the side. Or if you're gluten whatever and you don't want to drink beer, then you just play on the side. If you're fucked up, like whenever Tyler and I play and like I end up having to drink for him, then you like can have someone drink for you. There's plenty of advantages to beer pong. If you're really good at it, it can go much quicker, especially if there's a bunch of people around. You're trying to get everyone to play. So those are definitely some advantages.
Definitely. I agree with you. I wrote some other ones down. Setting-wise, you're playing inside. So I was just in Chico. It was 109 degrees. So we were inside in an air-conditioned house playing all day. So that was an advantage for sure. You can get drunk pretty fast. Some people, that's an advantage. And then you could play with water. Like you're saying, you fill the cups up with water. So then you don't have people sticking their dirty fingers in your cup, or they're touching the ball and they're throwing it into your cup. That's a virus written all over it. There's shot techniques in beer pong that could be an advantage. You can go this little underhand coil throw, which I've seen become really accurate. You can do little step backs if you want. Some people are just really creative with it. And there's rebuttals, which is always important because there's a lot of times you can come back, get into a game, and pull it off. Kind of like losing a 3-goal lead in hockey or something like that. But Traden, tell me some disadvantages of beer pong.
Well, it's not really hard for me to point out the disadvantages because I'm really bad at it. So I'm playing for way too long. And anybody who's been my partner, I know James, Tyler, I'm pretty sure you have, and Eric, all can attest to this. I am not the greatest when it comes to beer pong. So the disadvantage is if you're not very good at throwing things into little holes, you're not going to have a good time. I never do. That said, it's a little too mellow for me. I'm very upbeat. I'm very in your face. I'm very hyper at times, and the game is just too mellow for me. That said, I mean, there's some times where it's nice to settle down, but that'd be my disadvantage. It's a little bit slower. It's not as active for someone that is as active as I am. Plus, it doesn't really play to my strong suit. That said, neither does beer dive, but whatever.
Yeah. I agree with all your disadvantages. I'm similar to, like, that game can get really slow, and then that's where I just start playing bad, Another disadvantage, the whole elbows rule. Sometimes people get away with, having their elbow over the fucking table. And in my eyes, that's what you would call cheating, like if you were on the Houston Astros or something like that. But another disadvantage is you can only – actually, now that I think about it, you could play outside too. But, I was playing inside all weekend. But I guess you could play outside too, so that's not a disadvantage. Never mind.
Add the wind factor in. Got to play
Yeah,
the
the
win.
win. Yeah. And then everyone changes their rules. Like I've been in different areas playing different beer pong games, and there's like this random rule I've never heard about before. And then people are like, "Oh, it's the rule we grew up with," type of bullshit. That's how I lost one of the games this weekend. And then I guess my last disadvantage is you can get drunk quickly, which could be an advantage too. And one other thing, like I mentioned earlier, everyone's touching the ball, and if they're throwing it in your drink and you're drinking it, that's a virus beer, maybe. Let's get into Beer Die, the real, better, more important game. No bias here. So Beer Die is a table-based drinking game involving 4 players, 2 are on each side, throwing a dice underhanded over a certain height. In other words, high as shit in the air. That's what you want to do. And it's either landing on the other half of the table and bouncing off, or you're trying to land it in your opponent's cup. There's different point scoring systems, but when you hit that side of the other table, your partner has to catch you, or your partner has to catch it. So you're going to need communication there. And the dice can only be caught with one hand before it hits the ground. 3 key distinct attributes to this game: offense, defense, and stamina. Offense, because you need to be consistent and make your shots. Defense, you need to keep your team alive and snag those hot tosses. Stamina, you need to be able to handle your alcohol. Don't let it diminish you and your offense and your defense. Tyler.
Okay.
James, I'm going to go to you first, though. What are some advantages you think of Snappa/Beer Die?
One of the biggest things, first and foremost, is how active it is. You're moving front, back, side, jumping up and down, getting to a squat, doing a burpee, doing what you got to do to get that die. And if you're like a functioning adult, member of society, you're trying to burn those calories as you put in those calories. So at the end of the day, you pretty much have a net of 0 if you play some beer die. In addition to that, it really helps your hand-eye coordination just because, a die is way smaller than a ping pong ball. So if you're an athlete guy, girl, you want this game because it helps your hand-eye coordination, which is used in pretty much every single sport. It'll make you a better athlete. I promise, play beer die. Lastly, when you throw a die up in the air and it lands on the table, it's unpredictable. You don't know where it's going to go. And, that's just like life. Life is unpredictable, but you still got to figure it out. So not only is it burning calories, but it's also teaching you about life. So beer die is way better.
Yes, life.
Yeah, that was deep, dude. That was way deeper than I expected.
Hot take.
In other words,
a dice is smaller than a ping pong ball.
Life is valuable, guys, and so is beer die. Some advantages, I agree. Active, nothing like being active. It's outside. I love being outside, except when it's raining or snowing or there's a bunch of ash in the air. Or when it's like 119 degrees, but it's still, fuck it. It's fun to be outside, being active, playing Snappa. Sinking someone's cup when it's not your own, like what Tyler does when he sinks his own partner's cups. But when you sink the opponent's cup, it's like one of the best feelings ever. It's like what James is saying. You throw it up high as shit in the air, and it's unexpected. And when it happens, it's like you just went to Disneyland for the first time as a child. And you can get drunk quickly, like we mentioned earlier. And also, these games can end really fast. You could be, 1-0 for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden 2 cups get sunken and it's over. Tyler, what are some disadvantages of this game?
Yeah, first of all, I love how you mentioned that I sunk my own teammate's cup, but you forgot to mention that I sunk your own cup 4 times in one night. So thanks for not putting that in there. Really.
I don't remember.
He doesn't remember that.
You don't remember that because you were, because I sunk your cup 4 times.
I do remember, kind of.
So disadvantages of beer die for me. One is you can't play with a low ceiling, so you can't really play inside if it is super hot outside or super cold outside. It has to be done outside most likely, unless you're blessed with a super high ceiling in your house or wherever. So that's one disadvantage. Depending on the rules and how long you go, depending if it's 21 points or whatever, it can take a really long time. I believe we're playing it to 11, and it still, I think, took longer than the average beer pong game. The other thing I think is a disadvantage is that the targets just remain the same the whole time. It's a little bit more stagnant, which to me makes it a little bit less exciting. It's just kind of you're throwing the same die at the same spot every single time for 30 minutes or however long the game.
Yeah, how can you not sink the cup if it's there every time?
Yeah, you would think so. And it is hard, but it also, for me, is a little bit less exciting because there's not as much moving parts to it. So Those are my
Yeah,
disadvantages of beer die.
That's a pretty complex answer as well. I didn't think about the whole target is in the same spot. It's usually got to be played outside. That's a disadvantage. A big disadvantage is you could sink your own cup. That's never a good thing. And the shots have to be underhand all the time. I haven't played where you're throwing it overhand, so it's pretty much one shot, one technique, one shot, one target. How can it be so hard? I don't know.
I mean, I think you can throw it overhand, but that would be insanely hard.
In Canada,
I just don't know why you would try. I mean, I think it'd be like way hard.
Maybe we should try that next time. It'd be like a sky hook or something. So then just to wrap it all up, let's go around. Everyone, you tell me which game you like more. Alex, which game would you rather play?
I'm better at beer pong, but I haven't played Snappa/beer die in a while, so I'll pick that one.
Okay. Traden.
All about Snappa/beer die for me. I mean, when I get to feel like, you know, Marc-Andre Fleury with the saves off the table, I mean, that's what it's all about. Getting dirty, getting down and dirty. Let's go.
Yep. James.
Die, hands down. Hands down.
And Tyler.
All right, well, beer die has grown on me. I used to hate it, as we mentioned in previous podcasts. I do like it better than I used to, but for me, beer pong is still a king in with these two. I think it's just a more exciting game. There's more rules going on. Eric, you don't like the different house rules. I think that's cool. I think it adds a unique perspective depending on who you're playing and where you're playing with. There's re-racks, there's rebuttals, there's balls back. There's so much more that can happen within the game that I just really like, and I think it's more exciting than just throwing a dice up in the air at the same cup. And coming from a baseball guy, I think this is America's pastime. So beer pong it is.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to completely disagree with everything you just said. Beer die for the win. 4 people like beer die. 1 person likes beer pong here. You heard it first. Beer die wins this debate.
Shit.
For now. When we play next time, it's going to be fun. Tyler, I got a vengeance for you, but for this week, that's all I got, boys.
Although, James, can you hold up a poll on Instagram or something to see how the fans are feeling on this?
We'll make that happen.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Let's let America decide.
Eric, thank you very much. Hot take here, everybody. Eric is the best at non-sports related segments. So, thank you, Eric.